Hey, I'm Dallas with Lower Gear Outdoors. We are a outdoor gear shop in Tempe, Arizona. We do sell, included in outdoor gear, we sell a lot of kayaks, hoagies, old towns, etc. We have a customer coming in a few days to pick up this Autopilot 120. We've added some bow lights, red and green navigation lights, cockpit lights, and that kind of thing. They're going to be powered by a yak power switching setup, and that's going to be powered by a typical 20 some amp hour smaller battery. The motor, we're going a little bit smaller than normal. Just it was a budgetary and availability consideration. So going with the 54 amp hour battery, which in this particular customer's case should be plenty to keep him out there for the amount of time that he would be out. But just as a little bit of backup, he wants to be able to take advantage of the smaller battery as well. So using some Anderson plugs and doing some splicing and a little bit of configuration. And this would work for any kayak, not necessarily Autopilot. But when we want to use the small battery as the backup in case the big battery gets exhausted, then we will simply disconnect the regular connecting plug from that comes as part of the Autopilot package, and then the user will just lean over by his seat and plug this in, and that will bypass the big battery and go into here with the smaller one. And we'll show you the schematic of it and then the actual installation in the hole. Okay, so here's the general layout we're going to have. This is the battery. The smaller battery will go for his electronics, fish finder, and things of that nature. This is, we added this neat little thing comes in hand. This is called a piggyback quick connect, so we can run two different spade connectors off of it. So it'll be on like that. This will go to the yak power unit, and then this is what we've added. This will be the quick connect to go into the motor. This big battery will have its own connections going to the motor, and on the old town there is a disconnect that then goes into the hole. We're going to unplug that if we ever need to use this one. And the reason we can't hook them up in parallel because of the difference in capacity. This one's a 54 amp and this other one's going to be in the 20 range. It's not absolute, but there are some potential issues depending on the level of status of charge and things of that nature that could cause a problem. And if one of them is fully exhausted, the other one may just be drawing it down and not actually get to the motor. So we would disconnect the existing port on the O-Town, and then we're going to take this and splice it into the wiring inside the hole for the motor that is past that disconnect part. And when we want to hook it up, we'll unplug the O-Town one, plug this one in, and at that point this will be running the motor. Conversely, if it was a situation, we would be able to disconnect this part and operate it off, operate the electronics on this, but we'll show you on the hole itself. Okay, so now we have our wires spliced and soldered together on the kayak, and we can take a look now at how it's all going to be set up. Obviously, this battery would be down here in this compartment. We typically just Velcro them down in here so that they don't won't stumble around anywhere. But we have, this is going to the yak power unit. And then this is the Anderson plugs that we hooked on. We spliced those in here to the motor lines. And then, so this is going to be the motor battery. And this will be the normal setup, electronics and for the motor. Should the motor battery give out, we want to get in and use the motor off of this battery, what we would do is disconnect this standard one, plug these two in, and now the motor would be operating off of this battery for just a brief period of time, just enough to get you in. If there was a circumstance where we needed to run the lights, let's say got called out after dark, this battery rather was going out, and you wanted to run the lights off this battery, then we can still do that as well. We would disconnect this battery altogether. One thing we will have to watch out for on this is not letting those two lines touch each other down inside the hull. But then we would plug this back up. And at that point, both the motor and the lights could be run off of the big battery. So his need to actually have to do this could be limited. It would actually be better if these were both the same capacity. That would allow a little bit better flexibility in the wiring. You wouldn't have to do this bypassing like we have on this one. But most times, there is going to be a difference in the capacities between the battery that you use for your electronics versus the battery you use for your motor. This is a way to extend the life of both of them. If we can ever help you out with any installation, motor, or any kayaks, just let us know. Give us a call or check us out at lowergear.com.